I am joined on Football Corner by innocent Mutiso. So many titles, I don't even know which one to start with. I'll just put it as expert pundit and clearly a die-hard Ghana fan. And of course, Samuel Gasharira, who I refer to fondly as Petit. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Always good to have you. Now, let's actually get into the thick of things. Gor Mahia versus USM Algiers tomorrow at Kasarani. As a former player, Mutiso Tuambie, do you see any chances of them actually being able to pip USM Algiers?
It will be a difficult task,
yeah.
And they have a mountain to climb. But echoing the sentiments of their captain right now, Muguna, he said that the mood at the camp is positive despite their financial struggles, and they will give that team a run for their money. But it will be very difficult and a huge task for Gor Mahia. But if they have to go on to the next stage, then they'll have to do a Zamalek. What they did to Zamalek last season, they have to do it tomorrow. So the fans should just come out to the stadium and give support to the young boys, because right now they are really struggling financially. And any amount of support that the fans give them, I think it will go a long way into them beating that team and proceeding to the next stage.
Tell us about some of these challenges, including the financial ones, Petit, because everyone says that, you know, after last season, including some of the player exits, you know, the likes of Kahata and so many others, to Isenge,
Shakava,
that it just looks like it's gone downhill for Kogalo. Your thoughts?
Well, you'll ask Mutiso here. He's played continental football before with Mathare United, and for sure it's not easy when you don't have the finances to back all that up. And I think it's time that we rethink our approach in terms of football, because every other season, whenever Gor is about to face a serious continental match, we experience these financial challenges. Just the other day, in the first leg, they had to beg the government to support them so that they could honor that fixture, which in real sense, that should not be what Gor Mahia is doing, because Gor is a big team. To have qualified for the Champions League more than 5 times in the last 6 years,
right,
it's a big achievement. And I think the management of the team, already they are taking some steps. For example, the e-ticketing, it's a very good initiative from the chairman, Ambrose Rachier. It's high time that we start thinking differently, because 6-7 years ago, Mamelodi Sundowns, ordinary club in the PSL, but since the new owner came in, we've seen him transform Mamelodi Sundowns into a giant of African football. Look at Zesco United in Zambia. They just started when we played them in 2009.
2009, yes, at Nyayo Stadium.
It was just an ordinary team. Actually, after beating Mathare United, they didn't go past that. But look at them 10 years later, 7 years later. They're participating in the semi-finals of the Champions League, attracting the best players, our very own Jesse Were, Anthony Akumu, David Owino. They can buy any player they want.
Right.
This is the approach Gor Mahia should take. It's high time we stop thinking about handouts from politicians and crying foul whenever a sponsor leaves the club, because sponsors and companies should be scrambling to support Gor Mahia, not shying away from Gor Mahia.
Yeah.
And I think it's high time the management rethink how they run the club.
And Gor Mahia really never learned from their mistakes. And as he said, in the last 5 years, they've been in continental football ever since I was there. And the same problems are there year in, year out. The other day when the season was starting, the chairman said that they are doing the e-ticketing, copying what Kariobangi Sharks have been doing. And I thought, wow, it's a new dawn for Gor Mahia. But then again, the other day he said that all the Gor Mahia home matches will be taken off from Kisumu to Nairobi because of the cartels eating the gate collection. So what is this all about? Gor Mahia never learned from their mistakes, and if they have to go the next step to at least stand by themselves,
right,
not depending on sponsorship or other companies. Look at the teams like Simba. They've not been dependent on a huge sponsorship, because they themselves, they can stand on themselves. Look at Azam Football Club. They've gone in leaps and bounds, and that is what Gor Mahia should emulate.
Exactly. Gentlemen, we're a bit short and pressed on time, but still the conversation continues. Talk to us using the hashtag TopSport. Mutiso bringing up an interesting point of Gor Mahia Mahia emulating Kariobangi Sharks. But is it a mentality problem? Because Gor founded over 50 years ago. Kariobangi Sharks came into the scene about, what, 20 years ago in the 2000s. Yet you can be able to see, you know, the difference. So is it really a mentality problem? We saw recently club chairman Ambrose Rachir taking a tough stance on the Moi Stadium in Kisumu. However, don't you think that Gor Mahia should already, Petit, be able to say that they have their own infrastructure, they have their own stadium? Quick thoughts before we take a break.
You know, football is big business nowadays. It's no longer playing for fun. And the moment we realize that is when Kenyan football will move to the next level. And when we talk about Kenyan football, and we mentioned Gor Mahia, we are talking about 18-time champions. So Gor Mahia is the face of Kenyan football. So if things are not going well at Gor, then which other club will succeed? Because Gor has everything. They have the best players. They have big numbers whenever they are playing in the stadium. They play good football when they are in the mood. So you wonder, if Gor, with continental football, good players, a lot of fans, cannot attract sponsorship, then which other club will attract sponsorship?
Exactly. Where indeed are we left in terms of, you know, infrastructure and development of football? And not just at the grassroots, as we always keep saying, but indeed with some of the top clubs in the country. Let's get in a word or two from some of the key Gor Mahia players ahead of their big clash. Will they be able to do it, or will they be relegated to the CAF Confederation Cup?
Tumejiandaa kupindua meza, tumejiandaa kupata ushindi tuweze kuendelea. Maana lengo letu pia ni kufika kwenye group stage. Sasa ili tufike lazima tuwin mechi ile.
Nadhani wachezaji wote wanajua kitu tunatarajia na mashabiki pia wanajua, na tunajua itakuwa rahisi kwa sababu ukiangalia tunahitaji mabao matatu, na pia at the same time pia lazima tu defend vizuri ndio wasifunge. So kila mchezaji ako tayari na anajua tunataka nini at the end of the day.
Hao pia ilikuwa rahisi kutufunga. Kwa hiyo hakuna kitu rahisi. Lazima na sisi tufanye juhudi ili tuweze kushinda. Hakuna kitu ambacho kitakuwa rahisi. Hakuna ambacho kinashindikana. Ni juhudi, tukijitolea tunaweza kushinda. Kama walivyotufunga na sisi tunaweza kuwafunga kwetu.
They were able to beat us 4-1. So I think in the return leg we can also beat them. Everything is possible.
Issue ya malipo na klabu ni kitu ambayo ni tofauti, lakini kama mchezaji unajitambua na angalia karia yako. Ni game kubwa, ni game ya Champion of Africa, lazima ujitolee upate soko kwingine. Kwa hiyo issue ya malipo na pembeni unapoenda kwenye ukiwa unataka mafanikio lazima uonyeshe.
Well, for that one it's not a problem because you cannot rely on those things because of football. Once you are professional, you need to rely on the football and forget about the money. When you get to the field, just forget about the money and play your game. That's all.
Sisi penye tumeweka kichwa yetu ni kucheza mpira, na allowances tunavyojua ofisi yetu wametuashua maybe before tucheze hiyo mechi ambayo tunatarajia watakuwa wametusota hata kitu kidogo.
Gor Mahia captain Kenneth Muguna there. Indeed, everything is possible, as they say. We'll see about that come Sunday afternoon at the Kasarani Stadium. Let's move on to more continental football. We are focusing on Bandari. They did travel to Tunisia for their second leg first round CAF Confederation Cup clash with US Ben Guardane. Quick thoughts on how you see that game panning out?
Well, they have a 2-goal lead, and it will be a tough task to go there and keep a clean sheet. So that is what they will play for, everything when they go there. And they are setting the pace, which Gor Mahia has been failing to do. They went there 3 days prior to the match. And just kudos to the team, because they're showing the professionalism that we've been yearning for Kenyan teams for so many years.
What would be your strategy as coach and team going into a game like that? Park the bus or try and get them on the counter?
Park the bus.
Park the bus.
Park the bus.
Away.
Park the bus away from home.
Your thoughts, Petit?
I think parking the bus is inviting a lot of pressure. I'll go for a first half goal. That is if I'm lucky. If you look at how they qualified against Al Ahly Shendi, 0-0 in Nairobi. Second leg in Sudan, scored fast. Then Shendi had to chase the game. And even after they equalized, Bandari went through the away goal rule. I think that should be the strategy for Molala. And just to lend credence to that, you look at Bandari, ever since they played Shendi in Nairobi, they've grown by every Premier League game they've played. Mohamed Katana, the new boy, Messi Agege scoring, Darius Musaga, Yema Moana getting on the score sheet. So every other player in that final third is capable of scoring. So why not go for the goal? Then it gives you an advantage that this Tunisian side has to score 3 goals.
Yeah.
For every goal you score, you give them a headache of scoring 2 more. So I think with the kind of attacking talent at Bandari and Molala himself being a very good striker during
Yes.
his playing days, he should go for the goal in the first half.
All right, so Petit clearly going for a first half goal. That would put Bandari in a better position to advance through. And we are taking a small break. But before that, do we really know too much about this Tunisian team, US Ben Guardane? Well, a friend to the show based in Tunisia did send us a small report on the team, who to watch out for, where will the game be played. And let's have a look at Arafat Hamrouni from Tunisia with more on US Ben Guardane.
Let's call it Leicester City of Tunisia. Ben Guardane is a small team. It does belong to the top 4 in Tunisia, which is composed by Esperance, Étoile du Sahel, Club Africa and Club Sfaxien. They promoted for the first time in their history in 2015. And since, they kept doing great results, waving between 8th and 5th place. First surprise was in 2017 when Ben Guardane reached Cup final, which allowed her to play in the Confederation Cup for the first time in its history. Second surprise was last year, when Ben Guardane reached the 4th place in the ranking of the league. Key player in this team is Gil Bahia. He's a Brazilian right back. He even used to play with Coutinho and Neymar in the under-17 Brazilian national team. Match will be played on Sunday, 2:30 p.m. Greenwich time, in Ben Guardane Stadium, a small stadium with big and noisy crowd. It's really difficult to play that team in its stadium.
Welcome back. Keep talking to us. Hashtag to use is Top Sport. Now, you did see that report on US Ben Guardane from Tunisia, but let's move on to something quite big that's happened today. Petit, Sport Pesa out of the market. Betting closed shop yesterday. What's the future?
It's an interesting development because you look at those two companies, specifically Sport Pesa, they've been supporting Kenyan football. But now the question is, can the other betting companies who are still operational step up and fill that void? Because for sure we need the betting companies to support sports in this country. We've seen the government blow hot and cold the sports fund. Yes, it's operational at the moment, but is it sufficient? I don't think so, because they only support the national teams and national federations. So what happens to the leagues? For instance, the Kenyan Premier League, whose Sport Pesa was the title sponsor. Look at Gor Mahia now, left without a sponsor. FC Leopards, one of the biggest clubs in Kenya, left without a sponsor. I think the question here is...
You forgot about KPL.
Yeah, I've said the league
Kenyan
itself.
Premier League.
Yeah, so the question is, can the government... It's a good decision because they're serving the best interests of the citizens of the country. But there's another population, and a big one for that matter, more than 1,000 families who are supported directly through football. What happens?
And
can the government fill that void?
Yeah, interesting point about the sports fund, Mutiso, because as per the directive given, it should be that the sports fund, which was already minused because of going towards universal healthcare, caters for national teams, not going all the way to the different club levels. So what happens?
It actually caters for the federations.
The federations.
It should go directly to the federations. But every now and then we hear some scandal or something that has happened to a national team of maybe a sports team like a tennis or let's say the athletics when they were kicked out from their hotel
before the African Games.
Yes, before the African Games. And these things, I don't know why they're happening. I mean, sports is the biggest outlet and putting Kenya on the map because nowadays we can't talk about agriculture. So the government really should have sat down with some of these betting firms and find a good solution. Because right now, with the Sport Pesa closing shop here in Kenya, what about those employees?
Exactly.
What's going to happen?
Yeah.
So the government really should rethink about the decisions they are making because I can see some of these big decisions that they are making is just to fill some people's bank accounts.
Wow. Interesting and very, controversial remarks. But that's indeed what Mutiso thinks. I'm sure that's what a lot of people think. But moving on to what we'd mentioned earlier, gentlemen, the Kenyan Premier League. Quick thoughts, Petit, on Kakamega Homeboys. As I said earlier, it's still early days, but currently being at the top. We're seeing Bandari Gor Mahia, courtesy of having a few games in hand. Your thoughts so far on the league?
So far, so good. I think Kakamega Homeboys and Nicholas Muyoti, they are finally coming of age. And what I like about Muyoti is that he's a very brave coach. He might be one of the youngest coaches in the Kenyan Premier League, but he's one coach who likes taking a risk. And if you look at his career, he's taken time to learn under the very best. Luke Amel, he was his assistant. Ivan Mina, the Belgian at FC Leopards, he was his assistant. And now that he's got the honors to lead a club like Kakamega Homeboys, you saw during the transfer window, went for very interesting players. Kennedy Onyango, formerly of Mount Kenya United, nicknamed Vidic, one of the best defenders, formed a very good partnership with Jojo Diwar. Stephen Etiang, the young winger from Nzoia Sugar, already scored in his first game against FC Leopards. And now the team, despite losing players like Daniel Sakari to Kakamega Homeboys, you see that the core of that team is still within Kakamega Homeboys. And I think it's a team that can finish in the top 4 this season.
What about Wazito, Mutiso? Because Mr. Moneybags came in, the team did very well just in terms of preps and organization for what was at that time the upcoming season, and then winless.
Well, I think when they came in back to the Premier League, they got the money from Mr. Moneybags, as you say, and they thought they could conquer the world, and they signed over 15 players.
Over 17.
Around 17 players.
Yeah.
You just don't go to a league and just do that. And in the NSL, they should have stayed with the bulk of their players who helped them qualify for the Kenyan Premier League, and then maybe strengthen some parts that they thought that they need depth in, and that is what really is struggling. That's why they're struggling right now, and they will take so much time before that team gels together. And the second leg, maybe they will be fighting for survival instead of fighting for the league.
Yeah, maybe, just maybe. We'll see about that. Now, we do have to wrap the football conversation up, unfortunately, but let's delve into the international scene very shortly. The FIFA Best Awards were basically the biggest news item in the last week. Lionel Messi did take it in terms of men's player of the year. Megan Rapinoe from the US, World Cup winner, did take it on the women's side. But controversy after that particular award ceremony. Coaches coming out, Mutiso, saying, look, this is who I voted for. I did not vote for Lionel Messi. Yet, when I look at my vote in the system, it's saying that I voted for him. What's happened? Is it rigging?
Basically, I think just FIFA wanted a tiebreaker for Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. But in real sense, they should not have made it into the top 3. If it's about goals, I can tell you one person. Okay, they say numbers
numbers don't lie.
Women lie, men lie, but numbers do not lie. If it's about goals for Messi, because he had one of most goals in Europe. There's one, Baghdad Buneja, who even scored the winner in the African Cup.
Baghdad is good, but he plays in Qatar?
Yes, he plays Qatar for Al Sadd.
Yeah.
This guy scored 58 goals last season.
It's not about goals,
so I'm saying, for Messi, if it's about goals, this guy scored 58 goals, I'm telling you, Ida. And for Messi, I think he was just given that to have a tiebreaker between who's the best in the world. I think that award should have gone to Bernardo Silva from Man City.
Silva, interesting. What about you, Petit? Final thoughts?
Van Dijk, I think, he's had a perfect season. If you look at the price tag that he came with at Liverpool, the most expensive defender, and boy, he's lived to the expectation at Liverpool, guided them to the Champions League. Unfortunate not to win that league title. The national team you've seen has been among the shining light in that young Dutch squad. I think it's very rare for a defender to win such an award, and this was Van Dijk's award. It's just the same as Xavi and Iniesta. You don't win it at that time, you'll never win it.
And there were no statistics, unfortunately, other than assists to be able to back up the likes of Xavi and Iniesta. So basically, as Petit is putting it, if Van Dijk was not able to get it this time, chances are very, very low that he will get another opportunity, I do beg your pardon, to be able to get it. Look, so much to talk about, but we don't have the time, so do keep talking to us on social media. #ChooseIsTopSport. Tell us your thoughts on the Carabao Cup, English Premier League action still going on, and don't forget there's the Madrid derby tonight, Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid, with Eden Hazard finally in control. So we're wrapping it up, unfortunately, on Football Corner. I am going to throw it to Makori for 1 or 2 tweets. Keep talking to us, #IsTopSport. Gentlemen, lovely as always. We will get a chance, hopefully soon, to continue and finalize on this conversation. Makori, unasemaje?
Tumefinya muda lakini Mungu ni mkuu. Ipo siku. Wacha nisome tweet mbili ndio tutende haki upande wa pili. Dennis Sampaio anasema Gor Mahia wana kila kitu kuishinda USM Alger hapo kesho, na ni kwamba hiyo Kogalo si kwamba wanawakilisha tu wale faithfuls wa Kogalo, nchi yenyewe. Alafu hapa chini akasema ukosefu wa udhamini unafanya ligi kuu ya kandanda ya Kenya ianze kusuasua, na hana imani kwamba msimu unaweza kukamilika ikiwa hakuna mdhamini. Jacob Abere Matilala anasema halo Kigogo na Kigogoles. Na nyonyo hii. Anasema yeye anaona mita 800 vile ilikuwa jana, hali si hali kwa Unisom ni very poor. Anasema poorly lakini haina neno, tuone hali itakuwa kwaje mambo yakiendelea, na natoa heko na kongole kwa Ruth ambaye alifanya mambo yake katika ulimwengu wa marathon. Lakini kwa sasa kuna kule kuingia upande wa tenisi, lakini wacha tufanye hivi iwe kwamba matweet bado mengi. Endelea kuleta, nitakuwa nasoma kadri yanasonga. Dennis Sampaio, hiyo ni yeye alikuwa ameweka juu yake, lakini Murage James anasema the deficit is too much. Anasema all the best though. Ndio anasema hapo. Jackton anasema tomorrow, hiyo game ya kesho kati ya Gor Mahia na US Benwerdane, mashabiki wanafaa wajae vile walijaa wakati wa Hull City na Everton. Hiyo ni michuano ilikuwa inafanikishwa na SportPesa ambayo tayari imekwisha kukubali matokeo kuiondokea soko. Kogalo anasema huyo ni Ntomiaka. Ntomiaka anasema Kogalo will win but I don't see them proceed kwa awamu ya makundi. Hashtag hapo imesimama tisti kabisa. Mark Msumba anasema Kenya has always been a sporting country, so Safari Rally kuja hapa Kenya is a massive achievement. Anasema keep up, well done. Hapo moja kwa moja Phineas Kimathi ambaye ni rais wa shirikisho la mashindano magari hapa Kenya amefanya bidii kubwa kwa kiki na kuhakikisha kwamba mashindano yanarejea nyumbani baada ya kipindi cha miaka 17. Huyu anafahamika kama Mark Kasomba, ni huyo mmoja nimekwisha kuisoma yake, wacha nitende haki hiyo ikakwara ikaja hii tosha. Anasema I'm sure Team Kenya will do very well in Doha, wishing them nothing but God's blessings. Baraka tele sana kwa Team Kenya wakiwa kule Doha Qatar katika mashindano ya riadha ulimwengu. Marcus Bena anasema anaangalia moja kwa moja kutoka Tarakea. Mechi kati ya Liverpool na Sheffield United, hii sina imani nayo, maana hizo dakika zimekuwa hapo zisongi. Acha nikuangalilie ligi kuu ya kandanda ya Kenya inakaaje. Tusker mabao 3, Sofapaka 1. Tusker imeshinda, imekwisha kutamatika hiyo. Kisumu All Stars wakiwa nyumbani Moi Kisumu ni 1-1 dhidi ya Western Stima, iko mapumziko. Alafu Ulinzi Stars dhidi ya Sony Sugar, Sony iko kifua mbele 1-0 awamu ya mapumziko. Kariobangi Sharks dhidi ya Mathare United ni mechi ya pili katika uwanja Kenyatta kaunti ya Machakos, itakuwa inapigwa majira ya saa 10 dakika 15, si mbali kutoka sasa, ni takriban dakika 13 hivi kwa mujibu wa chronometer iliyoko hapa studio. Kwa hiyo kikubwa na chamno ni kwamba sana nataka tuingie moja kwa moja upande wa tenisi. Muda umekwenda sana.